Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Ark Republicans. We are in conversation with somebody who is absolutely phenomenal and has, in Beyonce speak, turned lemonade out of lemons, but in Ark Republican thought has created or seen a silver lining in the COVID-19 pandemic. Today we are talking to Mr. Corey Lee. Corey Lee is a cattle rancher, a cowboy. When was the last time you saw a black cowboy? I'm so ecstatic at that. As well, he is president of SFE Landing Cattle, which is a meat distribution company that he just started, as well as Soul Food Exchange. We're going to be talking to Mr. Lee about COVID-19, how it has impacted farmers, and how is he dealing with the current food shortage, and particularly the meat shortage in the United States. Good afternoon, Mr. Lee.
Hey, how are you doing?
Fine. I'm so fine. And I forgot to say this. Mr. Lee is out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. It took me a little minute to get that together, but that is 30 miles, as you told me, south of Nashville.
Yes, ma'am.
So he is good and country. We like it. We like it. The delegation who rides for Black Cowboys says, thank you for joining us.
That's always a good thing to be able to talk to someone about, where we are as a people, where we are as a country, where are we as humans. And so anytime we can have that discussion, hopefully somebody will benefit from it.
I connected with Mr. Lee because, as you know, Ark Republic for the past, I would say 6 or 7 weeks, has been on this quest to locate and make visible as many Black farmers as possible so people could connect to the farmers who are selling directly to the people. Mr. Lee is one of them. He has 2 exceptional companies that we're going to talk about, and just talk about the experiences of what it's like to be in the agricultural industry. So thank you, Mr. Lee. I'm going to let you tell the people who you are most so. So please, how did you get into, well, first tell us about your 2 companies and why you started them.
Okay. I owned a farm up in Kentucky for several years, and I lost it due to some discrimination with the USDA. Okay, in which, as you do your research and more Black farmers that you talk to, a lot of them were involved in the Pickford class action suit, and it was settled in '99. But since '99, well, let me take you back a little further.
All right, bring it over there. I'm here. I have my tea and my wine. We could be here all day talking.
Okay, the '99 suit involved the USDA turning out or getting rid of the Office for Civil Rights from 1981 to 1996. Basically, they were getting complaints in from Black farmers, and they were just throwing them away, while the federal employees, systemically discriminated against Black farmers. One, denying them farms or delaying them funding, everything they could do to keep them out of business. And since the turn of the century, Black farmers had lost over 1 million acres of land. And actually, that's wrong. They lost 13 million acres of land. Now it's a little over 1 million acres left. And so I was not a part of Pickford. I had a little place in North Carolina, but I did not rely on the USDA. And so when I moved out to Tennessee, I ended up moving up to Kentucky, and I bought a farm up there, and discrimination occurred. And then this is when I kind of got more into the background of what has been going on. Well, Congress sought to protect the Black farmers because the USDA were back to their old tricks. And so they put in moratoriums in place and mandated that how did I get off onto the legal end? I guess because I represent.
No, that's fine. No. I think this is excellent context, and one is something that that for me is very interesting. But I think a lot of people who are outside of the farming industry don't really understand the nuances. So I think this is very important. And the legal aspect you're talking about is the Pickford versus Glickman, right? The historic.
Yes, and I'm gonna bring you up through the date on this.
Right.
And so in 2008 in the Farm Bill, Congress realized that the USDA has not changed their ways. And so they put in a moratorium relief for the black farmers who had pending discrimination complaints since the year 2000. Basically, it was the year after Pickford, to where they were supposed to get their act together. Well, what the USDA did was create a dual administrative procedure, one for similarly situated white farmers and one for black farmers. Naturally, the black farmers, they didn't get the same treatment as they did with as the white farmers did at the administrative level. So basically, if a white farmer had a complaint, by law, they must first go to the agency to give the agency 180 days to correct it. And if not, they could go to a district court. Mm-hmm. However, with the black farmers, they didn't do that. From 2000 to the present day, there are 22,000 pending discrimination complaints against the USDA, and they have not been resolved. And what has happened is that a similar situated white farmer can go to the administrative law judge, and basically they have a one-day mini trial, you know, with complete records of everything that you complained of, so you can see what happened to you. You can choose to have representation or not. With a black farmer, you can't even see your file. And let me back there for a second. And if the similarly situated white farmer was not happy with his decision from the administrative law judge, he could appeal it to a federal district court. With a black farmer, it must go to the Assistant Secretary of Civil Rights. You never get to see your file. You can't, you don't have a mini trial. They decide whether or not if you were discriminated against. But this is the kicker. Two kickers behind this, as a matter of fact. Even though the Assistant Secretary of Civil Rights was delegated the authority, if you got a final agency decision, of the 22,000 people that have complained, only 4 have gotten a final agency decision since the year 2000. But it gets worse. And after they give you the final agency decision, you cannot take that decision and go to the a federal district court for judicial review. Okay. Now, since the year 2016, to prove their racial intent, there has not been an assistant secretary of civil rights assigned to the job since 2016. So those are still sitting there. And so now, if you go back to Brown versus the Board of Education in 1954, that case was decided on the 14th Amendment. Basically, the Supreme Court says separate was inherently not equal. Based off the 14th Amendment, says that states could not do this. However, I'm presently a plaintiff in the D.C. court addressing this situation, to where the 14th Amendment was written word for word for the 5th Amendment, and the federal government can't do it also. And so we're challenging that in a court in Montgomery, Alabama, and also in D.C. Because what they're doing is you're putting up a storefront to continue discrimination, to which you admitted to before. Because if I can't get justice, or I can't see what happened to me, then I can't prove it. And see, and when you go on shows like Roland Martin and things of that nature, it's important that black people become attorneys, become judges, because you get down in the South, no matter what Congress has written, or whatever, these judges are not going by the law. They're not. They're saying, well, you know, more likely you don't have the money to defend it. And they put you in such a position to where you can't pay for an attorney, or, you know, fortunately I was blessed with some legal background, and, you know, it was a godsend. But so we're the black farmers as a whole are in a state of peril. You have the older generation that, you know, a lot of these farmers cannot even read and write. I mean, it's just reality. So, and the law can be, you know, overwhelming when you don't really understand it. And I don't care how learned you are, it can be overwhelming if you don't know it and know how to apply it. So imagine with a guy that's 60, 70, 80 years old that does not really have a formal education, and all of a sudden all he knows is they're about to take his whole world away, and they'll have no idea what's going on. And so the USDA has set up a storefront to where they're supposed to have an office for civil rights to help these farmers out. But no, they're just furthering the discrimination. But, like I told the co-plaintiff in the case in D.C., I said, Jesus, he's at the Court of Appeals and he told us to come on. And I'm going to send you the brief when we get off this.
Yeah, I really do want to see the brief. I have a question. This might be backtracking a little bit. I've been in conversation with quite a few farmers since I made this commitment. And initially, the response is that who are you? Who are your people? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because there's been just so much exploitation as well as neglect. So they're like, why are you interested now? You know what I mean? And I really appreciate you opening and sharing this information. Like I would say a number of Black people, African Americans whose families left the South were connected to farmland and lost their farmland. Like my family, I always say that both sides of my family lost their farmland to domestic terror. So like this is a very personal issue for me, and to see these things happen in the early 1900s, and this it continues on, and it sounds like that the farmers are in a judicial purgatory. I'm very interested to know, what did your discrimination look like, and what made you leave out of being primarily a farmer and setting up the two companies that you are head of today?
All right. Well, what I did not tell you is that I'm the president of the Cowtown Foundation, and we represent farmers on discrimination claims against the USDA. Oh. So now you know.
Oh, okay.
So
big man, big man.
Well, at the end of the day, it was May 29th, 2014, the day that I lost my farm. Okay, I have not shared or shed one tear that the day that I lost that farm. In fact, I was sitting up on my fence and I was watching an auction off my farm, and I was just looking at the looks, and I was the only Black person there. I was just looking at the people, and everybody knew what they were doing. It was all a charade. And I simply looked up to heaven and I said, you got my attention, and what do you want me to do? And since that day, coming forward, my face is probably like Osama bin Laden's face at the USDA, because when God tells you something, and actually I had to lose the farm because it would have been an anchor on me to do what he wanted me to do. Mm-hmm. And so over the last 6 years, I've been able to pinpoint exactly how they were doing this. And so anybody can do an interview and tell you, hey, we've got a problem. Anybody can put a picket sign, and walk around in a building, but not everybody is willing to go the distance to at least go into the court and challenge what they're doing. And when I tell you the things that I'm involved with, when I'm a plaintiff, so I can share freely to what's going on, nothing in those briefs or complaints is about me. It's about everybody else, from the standpoint, the due process rights and things of that nature. I'm going to be fine regardless. But when you walk into a man's house and he breaks down and cries because his whole life has been destroyed for no other reason, it's because he's Black. God built a champion here. And I will chase you through the gates of hell if I have to make sure that you will never want to do it again. And so we must start at the top, or pinpoint, what exactly are they doing? And so the more and more places I go and more farmers I talk to, it's the same old wash, rinse, and replay. They're not doing anything that's so special, so detailed, so sophisticated. It is unadulterated discrimination. And they're using the court systems and the Department of Justice to pull it off. What they're doing. You go into a state court, or you can go to a federal court. Now, those judges are so cozy with the DOJ, they're not going to look at the law. And so what our plan was is with Cowtown Foundation is that, look, you're going to lose on the substance issues because they don't want to hear it. So you're going to have to find a court that is willing to hear the constitutional violations, like the due process. If I can pop them in the head with the due process, the rest of it will fall in line. Because once you start to read, you'll find that courts are more susceptible to hear the deprivations of due process or constitutional rights, or more so that, hey, John Brown lost his farm and this federal employee do it. The judges are not going to take anything from federal employees. The USDA is not going to fire them, and the judges are not going to let you sue them in their individual capacity. But what they may do is change the rules and regulations for the department. But however, you get up around DC, they don't want to hear anything a black farmers got to say in those courts. They don't. But if you get down there in the South, Rosa Parks came through in Montgomery, Alabama. Well, we got a case down in Montgomery, Alabama with a black chief judge and a black magistrate that has to, I ain't gonna say have to hear, they are presently hearing the deprivation of rights of black farmers. Now, as a black person, even Clarence Thomas, at some point in time, you're gonna have to look in that mirror. And if it's been articulated that, you know what, we can't even get the same hearing as a white farmer. This is probably the first or second time since I've been studying black farmers' cases, and I've read a ton, that a judge has denied the USDA's motion to dismiss the case. And now they won't even answer any motions. So I'm expecting any day for the judge to come in, but you can't get a default against the United States. But I'm expecting the judge to come in to compel them to do it too. And think how powerful that is, what I just told you. This is one of the only 2 or 3 times that I've seen a black farmer get past the motion to dismiss. And what they have done is so egregious, they will not even answer the motions put in the court.
Wow. So out of the four who actually got past the what was it, the phase you were talking?
To get a final agency decision.
Where are they? Are they still operating? Who are they?
Well, no, because the 4 that got a final agency decision, they didn't get any monetary relief. So basically, it's all a sham up there. Every last bit of it's a sham. And my thing is, my charge to black professionals as far as lawyers is that I don't care that Tupac died in 97. I don't care if Biggie died. This is real stuff. This is your legacy. Everybody thinks that successful black people came from Atlanta or Detroit, New York, New Jersey, LA. Right. Their mothers and fathers came from the South.
That's true.
Shedding the clan and farm life because they saw what happened to their parents, and they went to the North.
That's true. I mean, I tell everybody, my father picked cotton in Mississippi. Okay, I am literally, one generation from sharecropping. You know what I'm saying? And I'm 44. So this is not anything that, is back, 200 years. This is very recent. And when I went to high school in Los Angeles, because we had a lot of migrants from Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, that was the natural migratory flow. I knew people that I went to high school that picked peppers in Mississippi. Okay, so this is very, very real, and you are correct. A lot of people, a lot of us come from the South. Our roots are from the South. I'm sorry, I had to, add that
We're
part.
having a conversation, and so, as a people, we have allowed them to put us in a box. So I used to play professional baseball, but so the thing is that where if you roll them a ball, a couple of them will get through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then when they get through, we can keep them in a little box because they're not going to really want to get into social issues.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the black farmer is at the bottom of the totem pole. Nobody wants to hear him. Nobody wants to understand him. And so now we get COVID-19. And so now I'm ready to tell you the creation, how the new creations of the new businesses apply to all this.
Right.
And so we get the COVID-19. And so what you're finding is when you go to in the United States, I know you're over there in Italy land. So over in the United States is that if you go to the grocery store, a 12-ounce ribeye is $16.
Wow. Are you serious?
Oh, whoa. Now this is at the grocery store before you even cooked it. All right, now the price of cattle is almost at an all-time low.
What?
I'm gonna tell you what's going on.
Okay, break it on down. I'm listening.
So you've got 4 major companies that own 80% of the commodities in the United States.
Mm.
So they do primarily the bulk meat packing in the Midwest. So what they're doing is because they know they can, they're squeezing the farmers, saying, hey, we can't, process any more meat, and making supply low. So whatever would have cost $7 or $8, $9 2 months ago is now $16. Still going up. Ground beef is $5 a pound. But again, cattle is at an all-time low.
Wow. So that's something that they do in Italy. Because what I decided to cover, and some of the practices here is what you said. They charge the cattle is charged for it. It undermines the farmer or the cattle ranchers. Mm-hmm. But cheese, dairy, and all these things are exorbitantly high. Mm-hmm. So in protest, they dumped the dairy and they stopped producing cheese in order to force the government to do something. But that's this dance. And I would say Italy borrows a lot of its practices from the US. And so I see a lot of overlapping. So I just wanted to, to mention that.
And so this is the thing. So what's happening is that they created a crisis in the food chain. So the USDA could give these large corporate farms just dump money to them free of charge. To try to say, hey, we need to address the food crisis. No, that was just another way of throwing money in the big white farmers' pocket. Black farmers ain't getting none of it. Okay, now, and so I'd already started the Soul Food Exchange where I was going to help the black farmers be able to sell direct to consumers,
right?
And so they could at least get more than what they would get selling at wholesale and things of that nature. Well, when all this come along, I've got a background in cattle, so I said, look, now is the best time to change the model in which all farmers operate, especially ranchers. So with technology out here, you can sell direct. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of mom and pop USDA certified processing houses. They just can't do it on a mass scale. And so
Sir, can you explain what a processing house is? I don't know what that is, so please break it down. Please.
It's when you take an animal to be harvested, then and they'll remove the hide and inspect the meat, and then that's when they will give you your cuts of steaks and things of that nature. It was kind of gruesome, wasn't it?
No, not at all. No, not to me. No.
I was just trying to just say processing house and not tell you. Well, this is what they're doing Hands whacked. Call it a day. This is what you gonna eat.
Look, I was in Nigeria years ago chopping goat's head, so I'm not. That don't scare me.
And so with today's technology, okay, so instead of taking your cow to the cattle auction to where the buyers from these big corporations buy them and send them to the Midwest and finish them out, feed them, put a few more 100 pounds on them, then it goes to the processing house. I put together a model to where you grow these animals out. If they're ready for slaughter, everything meets the code and so to speak there. You take it to the process, you get the appointment, you take it to the processing house. I've got the customers, and I pay you on hanging weight. So after they cut them off and inspect it, and so now the liability's on the USDA and it's not on me.
That's right.
No, I know what they do to black people. You're not gonna get me in that trick bag.
Okay.
Well, I mean, because if I bought them direct and then had them processed,
right,
they blame me.
Exactly. They'll create all these rules and say that the meat is not good enough and all these other things that are done. I understand. Yes.
And so when they take them direct there and they inspect it, then I pay the farmer on the hanging weight. So I pay somewhere around $3 a pound. So if you took a 1,200 pound animal, to get processed, the carcass is going to weigh about 700 to 750 pounds. That's what you're going to get paid on. But instead of you taking that same animal on today's sale, you might get $500 for it. You're going to make $2,100.
Wow.
So you got an incentive to do business with me.
I know that's right.
Not only are you going to do business with me, I'm going to pass it on. Just for example, I'm not going to charge you $14 for a ribeye. I'm going to charge you last year's prices. I'm going to charge you $7. The animal price hasn't changed, where it's actually lower, but I'm giving them more so they can stay in business. The processing is still the same amount. And I'm looking to be in business, or my family looking to be in business 200 years from now.
I know that's right.
And so I want you to say, you know what, he took advantage of me, or not to say he took advantage of me when, this price is there. He basically sold me food at half price, and I'm not even going to look at what's going on in the world. Let's get back to business. Let's get back to, as a human being, no matter what race, as a human being, how can I walk in the master's footsteps? And you can't even feed your family, and I'm sitting there trying to roll in excess.
Right.
That ain't what he called us to be.
Right. That's right.
People are getting in Tennessee, self-employed. They're getting $600 a week. Man, most rent is $1,200-$1,500, and by the time you pay your rent, utilities, there ain't nothing left. Who am I to say you can't eat? I mean, you can't feed your family. I'm not that kind of brother. That's not who I am.
Right.
And
you know what? And this is why I thought it was so important in order to tap into Black farmers, because I got a lot of questions like, why are you just focusing on Black farmers and not all farmers? And I said, well, one, I'm not discriminating against any farmer because we all got to eat. And we all know in terms of numbers, there's way more white farmers than there are Black farmers. But what I do know is that people who have been placed in economic pressures have got to be not only resilient, but very creative and how they feed their families and survive. And Black farmers by far have had to been the most innovative. So you have had to be in a place where your back is up against the wall to think through, sir, what it is that you have thought through. So, kudos to you. This is, and I know everybody's going to eat from your idea. You know what I'm saying? So I just needed to say that because it's absolutely brilliant. I'm so totally on board. Thank you. Okay.
Well,
all right, go ahead.
It goes even further. So they have a Tennessee Minority Business Owner Association, in which there are a bunch of Black restaurants in there. But this place where I used to live, I went up through there 2 weeks ago. She told me, I don't know if we can keep the doors open because we're having to pay retail for food, and we're basically just serving people and not making any money. I said, give me 2 weeks. I'll have you all the beef that you need.
Wow.
But so at the end of the day, is that, like I told the girls last night from Tennessee, I said, look, you've got customers or clients or members of your organization that ain't gonna be able to keep the doors open.
Mm.
And I'm not gonna be that guy. You know, it was so funny because they thought they were doing me a favor by trying to extend, some kind of membership. I said, you're talking about 2,000 people. I said, I'm talking about a nationwide network that includes millions of people.
Wow.
And then, we, even though we're a nonprofit, we still have expenses, blah, blah, blah. And I started laughing. And she said, what are you laughing at? And I said, so you're trying to hustle me to buy a membership. So you call it opening up your clients to you. How much is this membership way? She said $300. And I said, why are we even discussing that? And I said, I'm a better person that it's two great things happen. One, I'm glad to see two Black women that's just like you. When I have a conversation with them, they're on top of it. They're making it happen. And I'm glad to be able to hang my hat on what you're doing. but I mean, because you got to understand the world I come from. You go down south, down to the South Alabama. As soon as I walk in there trying to help somebody, they're trying to hustle me.
Mm.
And I'm just like, look, it don't have to be like this. It doesn't have to be. But to see the professionalism that I saw last night and what I'm seeing now, I'm like, no, you got a partner. We'll do whatever we got to do because it ain't at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. We can't buy into the concept of time. We got to buy into the concept of eternity.
I know that's right.
And so if we can make it better for everybody else who's on the bottom, we'll have more than we ever wanted to see. In fact, he said somewhere that he'll open up the windows of heaven and be more room than you can receive. I'm witnessing. I mean, I'm living it right now.
I know that's right.
And so I'm going to set our network up, and we got about 10 days to launch. We have to get appointments around the country to get stuff processed. And, I'm getting calls. I'm like, it ain't really out there yet. And I don't know where these people coming from.
That's what I had a question, because initially, let me just kind of get some clarity. You were talking about the soul food exchange, right? Which is just vegetables and fruits. How long has that been going on?
That's kicked off exactly 1 week before COVID-19.
Wow. Okay. And then in the midst of that, you have the SFE Landing Cattle, which focuses on meats. So you're saying that the SFE Landing Cattle has kicked off or has astronomically blown up than the Soul Food Exchange?
It's kind of dormant, and let me tell you why. There are two different concepts there.
Okay.
The Soul Food Exchange was originally set up to help Black farmers sell their fruits and vegetables. Direct. To make more money from the start.
Right.
It's not easy dealing with Black farmers. And I mean, I'm gonna call it like it is, and I can say that.
Well, okay, I feel better because I was having my challenges too. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one, because I farm, two, I represent them, and so I interact with them all the time.
Right.
And it's not easy dealing with them from the standpoint, one, as you stated earlier, they think somebody's trying to exploit them. Two, they think that they've got the only game in town and they want to hustle you. I'm like, look, man, you can't hustle me. I'm here for a reason. It's because you're in a situation.
Right.
I'm trying to show you how to get out of a situation, but for the most part, I had to change my thinking also. Wow. We can't live on Pickford going forward. I can do whatever I can do to try to get them to write that, but we got to put together a plan going forward, because we all know Black folks have been locked out of the USDA game, the food game, totally. Just very few. Well, with technology, I'm gonna put the Black farmer, or actually any small farmer, back in the game, because if I just belong to Black farmer, I'll go broke. I'm not crazy, and I ain't ashamed to say it. because I know the games that are being played in that circle.
Mm.
But however, what I can guarantee with my company, you're not going to be discriminated against.
Mm-hmm.
So it's on you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you get in a bind financially, something like that, maybe we can find some investors to find some cattle, to feed them. We can do some things like that. But you're going to have a fair shot. That I can guarantee. But, we got a long way to go. We got a long way to go. But, it's that's no hill for a climber. No big thing. We can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to look towards the youth. I graduated from North Carolina A&T.
Okay.
And
I don't hold that against you. I graduated from Florida A&M.
I didn't know they had a school down there in Tallahassee other than SFE.
I got you.
Yeah. And so with A&T has a big agriculture part. I think FAMU's got something going on down there too, right?
Yeah, A&T, yeah. Mm-hmm. Sorry, A&M, agricultural mechanical. Yep. There's an agricultural sector. Yep.
And so as the monies roll in nationally, and if we get to roll in it, like I think we're going to roll in it, I'm going to set up grants for these historically Black colleges with agriculture programs, because we're going to need some kids to run this thing. We're going to need some attorneys to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. And if you give them an opportunity, it can become cool. I made the point the other day to where, when I was used to watch football on TV, late 70s, early 80s, and a Black athlete was interviewed at the end of the game, you couldn't understand half the stuff he was saying. Fast forward 20 years, my heart or chest swells with pride. Yes, Jamal is going to be a nuclear physicist. And when he talked, and you look, he's like, this dude's talking over my head. Mm-hmm. That, we've come a long way. But we have got to break the stereotypes that we place on ourselves.
Yeah.
It's okay to be a nerd. Mm-hmm. I would rather my daughter bring that nerd home and have respect for than bring this cat home that I'm saying, look, don't let this cowboy hat fool you. I will get with you in a minute. If you put your hands on it, you ain't got to worry about ever touching it again. I'm from that school. There's going to be some slow singing and flower bringing. And so, we have got to break the limitations that we place on ourselves.
So, Mr. Lee, with the SFE Landing Cattle, you said all these people have been calling you. So let's talk about the response and where you are in the company.
Well, where we are, I have people that work for me are actively calling processing houses around the country to find out where we can get getting the cattle was easy. That's the easiest thing in the world to do. We just have to get the appointments to get the availability so we can get animals in there to be processed.
The production houses, okay.
Yeah. So that's just where we are. And see, like with technology now, and there'll be a thing on there before you purchase. You might want to just email me and tell me you want to plan to purchase, because it could take as long as 60 days to get, a process, animal process if we can get them in there.
Right.
And so even though it may take a little while longer, look at the longevity that you're going to get, because I want to make it so your experience is so pleasant that whenever you need to buy meat or your neighbors want to buy meat, y'all go in together and basically purchase all the cuts of a cow. And walk
me through this, or walk me through, if I am a customer, how does this happen? I go on to your site.
You will go onto my site,
which is
SFE Landing Cattle Code. landingcattle.com.
Okay.
And so you go in there, you hit the shop button, and you will see different cuts of steak. uh, different cuts of steak, and then when you see the different cuts, you'll be able to have the option because we're selling everything by the pound.
Okay.
So if you're gonna buy a ribeye, I can't sell you 12 ounce. It's gonna come in a 16-ounce steak, just to keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you order that, and you can go to the cart, and you can cash out.
So,
And
so on the site, I have a question. On the site, I saw that there was a membership.
yes.
What is the membership? What are the benefits to the membership?
Well, the benefits to the membership is one, if you get a membership to either one of my sites, you're covered for both. So you can be able to buy fruits and vegetables or meat. Okay. Two, because I'm discounting everything and more so trying to keep farmers in business, small farmers in business, somebody will have to keep the lights on.
Mm-hmm.
There are trucks out there that's got to do deliveries and things of that nature. We got to be able to pay for this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a razor thin profit margin. Mm-hmm. But what I'm looking at is that the model will take hold in the lower 48. And so you get just a little bit of a whole lot, it'll be more than enough.
So once the person orders it, and it's going to take up to 60 days to be delivered. And I'm asking this, and and this might be a juvenile question. Please forgive me. I haven't eaten meat since '95. So this I'm but what had happened is I'm asking for a friend, okay? So when you get the meat, like so let's just say that there is, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I've been hearing a lot of people online asking people if they want to like join like a meat buying collective in order to purchase, a huge order and divvy it up. That is such like my grandmother. My grandmother was from St. Martinville, Louisiana, and she would talk about these annual, or maybe it went on like during the holiday, Easter and probably Christmas.
People would buy hogs and cattle, and they would.
And you chop them up and you divvy them up in in the community that you were in, and then for a couple of days you would take a piece of whatever it is you got and you would make a meal, and every night people would go over each other's houses. So it so reminded me of that. How long, so let's just say there's a family of 4 that purchase a whole cow. I don't know how much that will be. Let's just say it's $1,500, and then there's excess meat. What is the best way to store meat, and how long can it hold?
Freeze it. If you freeze it, it can literally hold for years.
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
I mean, if it's vacuum packed.
Oh, vacuum packed.
Yeah.
What you're gonna have vacuum packed.
Oh yeah, it'll be vacuum packed. Everything will be vacuum packed.
Okay.
And you've got a cold enough freezer. It's not going to go bad. But what's the temperature? What's the temperature that a freezer should be? It's going to need to be below 32. I would say around 20, 25, I would imagine.
Okay.
And our thing is that on average, our carcass is going to be between 700 and 750 pounds. That's, when you see a hanging cow meat,
yes.
That's a whole lot of meat.
That's a whole lot of meat.
So the meat buying clubs are great, but they need to purchase from me from the standpoint of, I'm going to give it to you cheaper than anybody.
I know that's right.
I mean, I really am. Mm-hmm. And, and I had a nurse call me from New York about 2 weeks ago. I have no idea how she got my number. Mm-hmm. And she's in Harlem. Mm-hmm. She says there's about 20 of them, that, they need meat and they can't even get none up in New York, and their butcher is, they pretty much got him out of business. Can you get meat into the Bronx? I was like, if they used to get moonshine into the Bronx during Prohibition, I will get you some meat into the Bronx. I mean, I'm from Tennessee where whiskey is king.
I know that's right.
So, just to hear the different stories and the different walks of life and what people need, it's like, man, I've always got time and I'll always figure it out. Mm. And so even though the Bronx is the long way from Tennessee, I've got my ways. And when they want that order, I might be able to get it faster than 60. I will have a truck roll right up in there. I said, but you're going to have to order, more than one carcass, especially 20 y'all, to make it, doable.
Right.
And I said, you might want to go find about, 50 of y'all and let me slide a cargo truck, pull behind a dually in there, maybe get it processed somewhere in a neighboring state, have my driver to pick it up and deliver to a central location. They got these Yeti coolers and these big old ice packs. Drop them in the bottom of the Yeti, pick them up from processing house close to there, be in the Bronx in 4 or 5 hours. Boom. Where there's a will, there's a way.
So the Soul Food Exchange website is already up. Is it soulfoodexchange.com?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And the SFE Landing Cattle.com is up, but it actually goes live in terms of taking orders on what is the projected date?
Next Friday. So about 10 days.
10 days. Next Friday is June. I'm sorry. I got to look at my June.
I think it'll be June the 6th, maybe.
June 6th. Okay, so June 6th. So all of you out there who are listening, June 6th, go to SFElandandcattle.com.
Yes, ma'am.
Get a membership. Well, first of all, get a buying club, get a membership, get it cracking, and go onto that site. I am committing. Like I said, I don't even eat meat, but I'm going to join for my family, if that's all right. I'm going to represent the Shivers clan and get some meat sent over to them. Now, I've been running Ark Republic for 3 years. First time, well, not the first time, but this is actually like the first time I really took on the fullness of entrepreneurship and running my own thing. So many things I did not know that I needed. So I'm asking you, even though you are a serial entrepreneur, what are some things that you need from us, the people, to help it run? Do you need drivers? What is it that we can help you with? Because we know it takes a village to get this popping.
All right. I'm glad you asked that question. I'm open to do any kind of partnership. If there's a company out there, somebody out there to say, you know what, I'd like to get some kind of business going to be able to deliver meat certain states. I'm open to anything, because what I don't want is the lack of opportunity to hinder anybody. Make no mistake about it. I'm a shrewd business person, but I'm fair. And I'm open to just about anything related. But I want you to give it your best. Don't come in with the mindset that I'm going to hustle this, because hustling will get you fired. And I don't want that to come off bad, but we're already at a decided disadvantage from the start. And we can make a go of it. And I want everybody to be able to eat, including people that say, you know what, I'm thinking about opening up a storefront. Can I get your meat? Yep, you sure can. We'll figure it out. So I want to be able to empower as many dreams as I can. And I'll certainly do my part. But let's everybody know that going into it, we're already at a disadvantage. If you do things right, you sleep better at night. All the stuff that you thought that money brings, it doesn't. So open your heart up to, you got to first remove yourself. And so if you got a business idea, let it be spawned off somebody else's need and not your wants. Does that make sense?
Yes. No. Yeah.
And so once I started doing all that, things changed in my life. I mean, I was on the mad dash. I was on the mad dash. Oh, I got to get it. Now you make mistakes when you do that. So, remove yourself from the equation and just let things happen in the natural order, and you'll find out things will get done a whole lot easier. But back to
So,
your question. So what do you need? Become a member. And if they got to meet, all right, this is the way it's broken down. If you become a member, if it for an individual family, like I say, and both $49.99 annual membership will put you on either the beef or the vegetables, or any of the programs I got going at times. You'll be able to go between any of the three. Okay. For a commercial restaurant, it's $2.99 because they buy beef all the time.
right.
But they'll probably save their $2.99 in the first delivery.
Mm-hmm.
As an organization, which consists of 15 or more people, you just got to self-certify that there's 15 or more people in your or in your organization, because
Right.
I'm only going to drop it in one place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's $4.99 from the standpoint of you can go out and get 100 people, and I don't care how y'all divvy it up, it's going to be dropped in one place.
Mm-hmm.
And so if all of y'all got together and how many people and put together $10 or whatever, 50 people, $10 to pay for this organizational annual membership, then boom, that was your savings right there.
Okay.
So,
all
you know,
right.
that's those are some, I think, fair prices for what it is.
Yeah. No, I mean, if meat is going for $80,000 a pound, yeah. I mean, this is, and I mean, this is the beginning of meat shortage. I've been hearing, I've been talking to people throughout the United States, and they're either saying that meat, like you said, is exorbitantly high, or there isn't a lot of meat. Or the third option is that I don't even know if this is meat that they're putting on the shelves. I don't even trust it. So I think one of the silver linings of this wonderful company and this project that you have is that we are going to be able to literally know who raises our meat. That is just so, to me, that is so dope and so incredible, to me, and actually very needed in the age of lab grown meat and cloned meat and all this other crazy stuff. Last thoughts on this really dope interview, because I hope we talk again within maybe a month or two to see exactly where you are and what we can do, how actually Ark Republic can partner in any way, shape, or form. I would love to, work with you. You are exceptional and dope, and I wish you all the best. So final thoughts are to you, sir.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on your program and doing this interview. And so I'm gonna go ahead and say this publicly. If it's on the podcast, you have an open invitation, and I will make time to to talk to you at any time. So,
thank you.
So you can't go out and say, well, no, he won't talk to me. I already said, and I will do anything I tell you. I will do.
Okay. All right. I thought you were going to say you have an open invitation for some brown liquor and a cigar when you make it to Tennessee. I'll take that too.
Anybody from the South know that is a standing invite.
Yeah, that is true. That is
a standing invite. You don't even ask that. That's part of that Southern hospitality.
That's what, and I totally miss that. And I miss, I remember every time I go to where my mom is from, Lafayette, Louisiana. I don't know how people know that I'm there, but I swear within 5 minutes, cousins and everybody be coming to the house with food and everything. I miss that so much. And I look forward to breaking bread with you and building with you. I just really feel that there's a silver lining in all of this, and that,
I'll do better than that.
What's up, sir?
Now, I pride myself on a smoker and a grill. There is nobody on this earth can make a steak better than I can.
Uh-oh.
And when you get to Tennessee, around these parts, you let me know. I got some. In fact, I'm thinking about doing my own spices for steak and barbecue.
Yes.
Smoker, I'm pretty good. But on the steak, I'll make that thing melt in your mouth. No sauce needed. It will melt in your mouth. And I know you don't eat steak. You'd already told me that. But you can bring your cousins up there and you can let them tell you.
Well, I'm gonna say, trust me, I'm gonna bring friends. I'm gonna take some of that sauce though. You know what I mean? And hey, look, for the ancestors, I might just go, you know what I mean? Hey, you never know.
I can put a steak in your mouth that will literally melt in your mouth.
All right.
And so, yeah, it's exciting time. I mean, I
Uh-huh.
ain't gonna lie to you, it's exciting time, but
Okay.
I'm just glad that, that my heart is in the right place. And say, you know what, man, people shouldn't have to suffer then, and they shouldn't have to, sacrifice everything just to try to feed the kids.
Mhm.
That ain't right.
Right.
And so I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna
Okay.
keep it real.
Okay. So SFE Cattle.com
Yes.
is if you right now, as the U.S. enters into this manufactured meat shortage, as Mr. Corey Lee told us about, the place to go if you want direct connection with who harvests your meat, who grows your cows, poultry, pork. Is it just beef, or is it
Just beef now, but we're putting together a model for pork and poultry.
okay? Okay. So SFE Cattle.com. We will definitely check back in with you. I am taking that invitation. I'm gonna tell you, I am the queen of not announcing myself. I'll roll up. What's up, cousin?
Hey, you're gonna go from a vegetarian to a meat lover that day because we eat meat around here.
Well, you know what? I really appreciate you. And excuse me. And please, anything you need, let me know. I am here.
I thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
We'll see you.